Democrats are in the political wilderness. And you know what happens in the wilderness? Delusion. You become delusional. You can't tell the difference between left and right and wrong. You have no idea where you are or where you're going. But most importantly, you lose all perspective. And that's exactly what happened to James Carville. Despite the fact that Donald Trump has only been president for barely a month, Carville made a bold prediction that Donald Trump's administration is not just collapsing right now, but will face a massive collapse within the next 30 days.
Ask you this. So you got a lot of Democrats who have been sort of yelling and screaming about a lot of these nominations, and in some cases, I think rightly so, and in other cases, I think it's been a bit overwrought. But, it seems that the angrier Democrats get, the more it feeds into exactly what Donald Trump and Elon Musk and some of these other folks want, meaning Fox News plays sound bites of Democrats' heads exploding as sort of sport. So what should they do from a media or political perspective?
Well, okay, I'm going to tease a piece I'm pretty sure will be coming out that I'm doing in the New York Times, probably Monday or Tuesday, but sometimes they'll kill it. But what I've said very publicly is that Democrats need to play possum. This whole thing is collapsing. It doesn't need Elizabeth Warren and somebody screaming to pacify some progressive advocacy groups in Washington, which, by the way, I wish these people were just useless. They're actually worse than useless, that they're detrimental. And they never, ever learn to shut up. And so, Dan, this is what I believe. I believe that this administration, in less than 30 days, in the midst of a massive collapse, and particularly a collapse in public opinion. Della Volpe at Harvard, who's very good. I used to think, once I saw a Harvard youth poll, I discounted it. I've come to say it's a pretty damn good poll. Pretty good guy. He's gone from 53 approval to under 30 to 39. That's a collapse. And all we need to do, the analogy I use, is Pickett is 500 yards from the stone wall. Hold your fire. It's going to be easy pickings here in 6 weeks. Just lay back.
So you literally think 30 days to 6 weeks, the Trump administration is effectively going to collapse in terms of public support?
Well, it's collapsing right now. We're in the midst of a collapse. This is the lowest approval, not even close, that any president has ever had at a comparable time. Again, that's a provable fact. So they're not going to be able to get a debt extension. That's pretty clear. I don't think they're going to be able to pass reconciliation, but I'm not sure. But they're going to have to go to Hakeem. And that is going to be the equivalent of stacking arms. It's over. We can't go without you. And I think the House Democrats, and this is going to shock a lot of people, I think they know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly what's going to happen. And I've never been a sick fan. I think Democrats make a lot of mistakes, but I think these guys know what's coming, and they know how they're going to handle it. And Mike Johnson's going to have no other choice. He's going to have to go. And when he does, that's surrender. It's going to happen quick.
Y'all, I've been playing the clips of Jasmine Crockett, the congresswoman from Texas. If she is representative of House Democrats, I don't think that they have it. So James Carville referenced a supposed poll that claims that Trump's approval has fallen to 39%. Funny thing is, I wasn't able to find that poll anywhere. And I'm subscribed to a lot of sites. I'm subscribed to the New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, Puck News. I have a ton of subscriptions for news because I am a news junkie, but I could not find that poll. So I decided to turn to Real Clear Politics. Now, for those of you who've been following the channel for a while, you know that Real Clear Politics was what I used to create the prediction that not only Trump would win the general election, but that he would win the popular vote and that he would sweep every single swing state. I made a prediction video on that last year before the election, obviously, because it was a prediction. But made it a few weeks out, and it turned out to be accurate. And that's not because I'm some genius or political guru, but that's because I looked at the numbers. So Let's look at the numbers together right now. According to Real Clear Politics, Donald Trump's favorability rating is 47.9%. So he's slightly below 50, but 47.9, that's really close. Just 2.1 points away, and he's right at that 50-50 mark. Unfavorable is 48.7%. So that means his net approval rating is negative 0.8%. And you can go down this entire list and see the individual polls. Again, I can't find the one that says his approval has supposedly dropped to the 39%. The lowest I'm seeing here is 44. So yeah, James Carville, I would like you to provide your sources on that one. So James Carville made 3 really outlandish points that I'm going to attempt to debunk with a single graphic. Claim number 1, Trump is historically unpopular for any president at this point in his term. Claim number 2, Trump is in the middle of a massive collapse. And claim number 3, Trump will completely collapse within the next 30 days to 6 weeks. There's just one problem with that. The data does not back that up at all. Again, according to Real Clear Politics, Trump is more popular than he's ever been. So the line we want to watch for here is the black line. Similar to a business budget sheet, being in the red is a bad thing. So being in the red, you're in a deficit, you're out of money, you're bleeding money. Whereas the black, you want to be in the black. That is his approval rating. And what you can see is from 2016 all the way through 2024, he was always more unpopular than he was popular, according to the polls, if you believe that the polls are accurate. But even if you don't believe the polls are accurate, the reality is that they still provide a trend line. And what you can see here is that for the first time ever, on December 5, 2024, after he won re-election and right before he was about to be sworn in, Trump was popular for the first time ever with a net 1.5% approval rating. His favorability was at 49.1% and then unfavorable at 47.6%. And then since then, the inauguration and then the 4 weeks that came after it, Trump has been more popular than unpopular. Now, there have been a few polls here and there showing unpopular numbers because that's what pollsters do. But again, the trend is undeniable. Trump started out really unpopular before he entered politics, a really contentious 2015, then a really bumpy 4 years. I'm not blaming him for that. Obviously, the media, Hollywood, culture, the deep state, they were all out to get him, right? He really was a one-man wrecking ball coming to Washington, D.C., but something really happened after the election, and he consolidated support in a way that he never has. So that right there, if Trump is more popular today than he ever has been, then that debunks point number 1, that Trump is historically unpopular for this point in his term, and then points number 2 and number 3 as well. It's really hard when you see that trend line moving in Trump's favor, moving up, his favorability being at historic highs for him, and, since 2015, 2016. How in the world does that just collapse overnight in 30 days to 6 weeks? Even if it does fall, it's probably going to fall back to where it was before. I wouldn't really call that a historic collapse. Next, James Carville claimed that Democrats are in a great position and they know what they're doing. Yeah, he has full faith in them. Well, Ilhan Omar, again, a Democrat, said that Americans are stupid. This is who James Carville has faith in and says knows what she's doing because she's a Democrat.
These people are just idiots. I really, I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with any of these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just in Congress, but as Americans. And the fact that these people are allowed to say just the most ridiculous things tells you that the dumbing of the United States has arrived, because how else do we get a Trump presidency again?
Jasmine Crockett is allowed to say ridiculous things. Joy Reid was allowed to say ridiculous things on MSNBC before she got fired. So I have no idea what Ilhan Omar is talking about there. And there are going to be some people saying, Daniel, she's just an extreme example. She's not representative of the entire Democrat Party. Well, that really doesn't matter because according to Quinnipiac, the Democrats are more unpopular than ever. Unlike James Carville, I actually have receipts. I actually have data. Of February 19, 2025, majorities say system of checks and balances not working well. Quinnipiac University national poll finds congressional job approval, Democrats hit all-time low. Republicans hit record high. So it's not just the Trump administration that is reaching record high approval ratings, it's the Republican Party as a whole. So again, it would be one thing if Trump's approval was high and the Republicans were fractured, the Republicans were infighting, the Republican approval was struggling. But the fact that it's high all across the board suggests to me that there is a unified Republican and independent coalition right now. They're standing strong. They want to see what DOJ does. They want to give Trump the benefit of the doubt. And they realize that many of the problems that Trump inherited from the last 4 years are not going to be fixed overnight. So they're willing to see how the process works out. And that's not to say that there aren't concerns. Of course there are concerns. One of you asked me in my last video, because yes, I do read the comments. Actually, a few people have asked this, what I think about Elon Musk's email. So Elon Musk sent out an email to all federal employees saying that you need to respond within 48 hours with 5 bullet points of what you've done. I'm torn on it. I think in theory, the idea is great. I think that realistically, it's probably being used and implemented to root out either email addresses or employees who aren't really working but are collecting a check. Maybe there's fraud. There are many reasons why I think it's a good idea, but there are also issues that I have with how it's being rolled out and implemented. And just because I have issues and concerns, again, it doesn't mean that I am souring or against it in any way. For example, so the idea here is that if federal employees don't respond within 48 hours, Elon Musk said that that will count as a letter of resignation, so to speak. Basically, respond in 48 hours or you're fired, you're terminated, or, we're taking it as you resigned. But 48 hours, is that blanket or are there exceptions? Because what if someone's on vacation? Because I think that's perfectly valid. Paid time off, you deserve that. If you've done a good job, it's in your contract, and you qualify for PTO. I wouldn't blame someone for not checking their email or not even tuning into the news. So you never know where someone's vacationing. Maybe they're hiking out in the mountains or exploring a beautiful national park. What if someone's sick? What if someone has the flu, like a really severe case of the flu, or something more intense, like fighting cancer? I know those are extreme circumstances, but Elon Musk is great as far as technology, innovation, running businesses. That's why he's a billionaire and the richest man in the world. But also part of what comes with that is his mind, just as it works, is sort of like an algorithm, so to speak. It's always looking for efficiency. It's looking for what we want in DOJ. But the issue with algorithms is that it removes the human component. A lot of the talk when it comes to AI and ethics is, hey, AI can be a strong and powerful tool. It can make our lives easier, but it also has a lot of dangers. Not just, when it comes to politics, they talk about misinformation and all that jazz, but also in removing the human touch. I think that's to me, from what I've read and my understanding of ethics, I think that's the most dangerous thing when it comes to AI. And so I think my whole issue, all of that to say, with the rollout, because the person I'm responding to, they said in their comment that they were concerned with how it's being rolled out, and you have family in the federal government, and I think it was your sister is really scared about it. But there has been a bit of pushback to this email, even from Trump officials. According to the New York Times, Trump officials at several agencies defy Musk's directive on summarizing accomplishments. And then that first paragraph there, several Trump-appointed agency leaders urged federal workers not to comply with Elon Musk's order to summarize their accomplishments for the past week or be removed from their positions, even as Mr. Musk doubled down on his demand over the weekend. Their instructions, in effect, countermanded the order of Mr. Musk across much of the government. And it's not just the New York Times. Politico is reporting the same thing. Email starts power clash between Musk and agency leaders, even the Trump loyalists. Now, here's where things get interesting. Politico flat out names Kash Patel. According to them, even Kash Patel, the FBI director and fierce Trump loyalist, instructed agency staff to, quote, please pause any responses, end quote, in an email obtained by Politico. Similar language appears in guidance sent Sunday afternoon to Pentagon employees. Who's in charge of the Pentagon? Pete Hegseth, and obtained by Politico. So that's not me saying, oh, Kash Patel and Pete Hegseth are unloyal, because I like both of them, but it makes sense that you would issue guidance. I think that there are a lot of valid concerns. The first concern I had when I saw that email, and again, I'm not against it. I'm just saying there are several concerns, and I hope that my concerns are answered, addressed, or maybe it's just a non-issue that I'm worrying about for nothing. But one of my concerns is, let's say it's self-sabotage in a way. Let's say you do list 5 things that you did over the week, but let's say someone, a staffer, says those 5 things aren't needed. We don't need those things, and you're going to be fired anyways. I would be concerned about that. I wouldn't want someone who doesn't know anything about the department or what the department does to just outright fire people because they don't think that those tasks are important. I think that that would be the purview of the defense secretary, the purview of the FBI director to make those decisions, and for the management and the leaders under them to make those decisions. But I also get the other side. I get the need and the want and the desire for Doge to work quickly, to work harder, to just go all out. But, we're only 4 weeks in. It takes time to learn how to dance. It takes time for everything to jive and gel and to become a cohesive unit. And we're already doing much better than we were in 2017. So personally, I'm not concerned. And to the person who commented, I would say, I would worry about the next day, take it a day at a time. And sometimes fear is worse than the actual thing itself. Now, speaking of all these cabinet positions, Trump just made a huge announcement on Truth Social. Yeah, I get it's not an official cabinet position, I don't think. But Trump just named Dan Bongino the deputy director of the FBI. I don't know if anyone listens to Dan Bongino's podcast, but it is absolutely excellent. Immediately after the assassination attempts, Dan Bongino put out a great series because he used to work for the Secret Service. So he had amazing insights into what likely happened. He had sources feeding him information. His stuff is always great. I've always found him to be, sure, he's rough around the edges, but I've always found him to be an honest guy, an intelligent guy, a hardworking guy. So I'm very excited. I think Trump is really building a strong team. So I thought that was great news. By the way, before I forget, James Carville, for the record, I would just like to point out that he predicted Kamala Harris would win.
I would say take Harris over 270 electoral votes. Let these fools in these crypto markets do something. Let them drive the betting line into a favorable place and then take advantage of it. That's what I would do. I think she's going to win.
And why do you think she's going to win?
He's got more money, got more energy, has a more united party, has better surrogates, and he's stone-ass nuts.
How is that working out for you, James? You lost, and you guys lost big time. Just like that prediction, I think his current prediction about Trump collapsing in 30 days to 6 weeks is more wishful thinking. And a message to the Democrats, just a free tip from your State of Daniel: don't let wishful thinking be confused for wisdom. Big difference. Again, y'all are in the political wilderness. You thirsty because y'all are looking pretty delusional right now. Just saying. Stay in denial. Personally, I lived in the state. I totally butchered that. I've been working on my catchphrase, y'all. As always, all of that is just my analysis and commentary. That is what's happening in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. It's always scary when I feel. Look, obviously, I'm very Trump-friendly on this channel. And so recently, whenever I've been airing my concerns or, yes, some of my constructive criticisms, it scares me because it's like I don't want people thinking that I'm changing tones, changing sides. It's just no. I am very, very bullish, very excited, very optimistic about Trump. But these concerns don't come from a place of hate. They come from a place of, I want this to be the strongest administration it can be. And these are just concerns I have. And if somehow, it's a small world. If somehow my ideas can filter out there and who knows, make their way to the White House, then great. But even if not, I've always told myself that I would make this channel, number one, to share stories I think are interesting, but I would always tell you my honest opinion on things and my honest perspective. Like I don't say things just to make people happy. So it's interesting because no matter what you say, there's always going to be people who disagree. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things. For those of you newer to the channel, you might not know I'm an actor, entertainer, musician, and so there is a sensitive side to me, and it just, I'm talking too much here. Question of the day. What do you think about that Musk email? The 5 bullet points, respond in 48 hours, or else Do you love it? Do you hate it? Heck yeah. Oh, do you have concerns? Is there an option that I'm not even aware of? Like, let me know all of your thoughts down below. I'm really excited to see what y'all have to think, especially, by the way, I do know that several federal employees watch my channel. So if you're a federal employee and if your account, if your account doesn't have your name on it, like, because I don't want you to get yourself in trouble, but feel free to let other commenters know. So that way we get your perspective. And presumably if you're on this channel, you voted for Trump. So I would really be interested to see your perspective as someone who voted for Trump and is a federal employee who could potentially be affected by this. Yeah. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me reach more viewers like you in the algorithm. Be sure to smash that subscribe button and check out one of these videos.